I can just pop in the weather.
I got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
15 seconds. Because it's the final countdown. Two seconds.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, YouTube, of course, Periscope TV, LinkedIn, and Alexa. Don't forget to add our app. It's free, KMET1490am.com. It's there. And for those of you tuning in, we appreciate you. On today's show, we got lots of stories to talk about, including some interesting news and some news you can use, as well as Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there kicking it up. How you doing, Jesse?
Good morning. I'm doing great. I love this new year, so hopefully everything will go okay.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to look at it right now. I think so many people are kind of wondering, is it going to be as dull, exciting, and or as grand, or is it at least a step in the right direction? I think a lot of people are questioning where we are in the stream of time. And unfortunately, so many people that I've had a conversation with as of late have said, I don't know where the last time has gone, but I do know it's a bit weird and a little bit off. But question, Jesse, of everything that you've seen as of last year, what are you hoping for the coming year?
What am I hoping for? I think kind of what I wanted yesterday, just for people just to relax, chill, and if they start arguing, maybe look at the other person's point of view before they start going crazy.
Mm-hmm. I guess I mean for yourself personally,
myself?
Yeah, personal goals, because I think everybody has sometimes a little bit of dread of waking up in a certain time period where they're like, I don't feel like it's everything it was cracked up to be. And instead you say, okay, how am I going to push forward? How am I going to move forward? How am I going to say, I really want the coming year to be everything that I want, even if the surrounding people and our nation and our country that we live in don't necessarily do what we want them to do. What can we do personally on our own behalf, so to speak?
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to give back more. Just try and help people, those that are unable to help themselves and stuff.
Yeah.
So give back if you can.
I like that. And for those of you tuning in, let us know what you're thinking. Sometimes it's good to have your own personal journey goals list. Some, focus on resolution. I feel like a lot of people feel like it's not a brand new year, in that a lot of people were kind of on the side, kind of saying, well, I don't know if I feel like it's a brand new year. I mean, without the Rose Parade, which would normally be a thing today, right? There's nothing of that. There's just elements of life that you go, is it just another day in our universe? What is going on? So the question of the day really is, what are we going to do in the coming days ahead? Whatever that is, personally, professionally, career-wise, perhaps something you're learning, perhaps a new technology that you're learning, whether it be online and or elsewhere. Just what do you feel, Jesse, is the best thing probably to focus on in the coming decade? You were wanting to look at science and technology. We had a couple shows where we talked science and technology, and sometimes it's nice to be able to kind of go, where are we heading versus where we are?
Right? Because if I'm supposed to believe what the Jetsons we're supposed to have flying cars by now, right?
At least roving cars on their own. Oh, yeah, that's right. We have those Teslas of the generation and others that sometimes they mostly work. They don't always work, but sometimes, more often than not, they do. But yeah, you're right. Exactly. Where are the futures of today promised that are quite possible? I would say a good majority of technologies are actually located in Japan, China, and otherwise areas that we probably haven't been traveling to as of late, and we need to just go and say, hey, how can we learn from some of the cool technologies that you have? A lot of these technologies actually have not been talked about as of late because it's all about coronavirus. It's all about, dismal planetary existence that we say, okay, this is a problem with our life. But the reality is, I feel as though we just need to start focusing a little bit more on the future of tomorrow, because it's not as bleak as people think and or imagine, right, Jesse?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do here on the show. And we got some stories as well, but we are going to regroup a little bit. Give us your thoughts and or your abilities in social media. I know I had talked about virtual reality for quite some time, a couple weeks back, and how that is going to take the world by storm in the coming years ahead as well. There's technologies in science, health related, other than just coronavirus. We've got stuff that are actually helping not some even times curing certain diseases that are currently just kind of talked about, but we're just trying to get a handle on the current situation with coronavirus. But still, we have technologies that are out there that can help each and every one of us. So let's start focusing on some of that in the coming year ahead, and let's stop dreading the craziness that's happening in our own sphere of influence. Okay, we'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, for those of you tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from. We want to know. And as I take a little sip of some good H2O, let's see what comments are there. Any that pop out in your? Let's see, it looks like everybody's saying good morning. Let's see, Chica, I did greet. I did greet you too as well. Let's see, Patricia Sommer. Hello, Rosalie over there. Good morning. Patricia says we move on. Take it as it comes. Be true to self. I like that. Very true. All right. So, get your, I know it's hard the day after, but how many partied last night? Did anybody party? Did you party, Jesse?
Yeah, I partied straight to sleep.
Me too. If anything, I was like, what are those fireworks or what are those little loud noises out there doing? I was so over it at I want to say 10 o'clock.
Honestly, I remember when I was young, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stay up to midnight every time, and then when I hit 30, it's like, I want to go to bed at 10.
It shouldn't be that way though. I think look, as of last year, I remember I was like a kid in a candy store. Yeah, no, I remember it because it was fun. Did like a whole, and the year before that, it was like a family thing, and it's just
But when you have to work the next day, you can't really do anything.
That's true. And that was the thing. I was debating, do I take the day off? Do I not take the day off? But you work regardless, right?
I am here regardless, yes.
Yeah. So I thought, well, if Jesse's going to do it, I might as well do it.
Yep. I am always here.
Oh, no. Medical experts with the Joint Interagency Task Force do not believe there's any risk of harm to these 42 individuals who they were given Regeneron antibody treatment instead of the coronavirus vaccine. What does that do? Regeneron.
5 seconds. Isn't that what Donald Trump took? 2 seconds. Coming back.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Periscope TV. Don't forget also Alexa app. You can check us out. Apple TV as well via the Periscope. We appreciate you. Let's see. Shadow tuning in. It says Temescal Valley, California tuning in from. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Patricia Sommers tuning in from Stockton, California. Awesome. And we were asking a bit ago on our little break point there, where and or what are you celebrating as of this week? Literally, like, are you celebrating New Year's? Are you guys partying? Patricia says, no party here. Watch bits of YouTube with Disney, Times Square, etc. Stephanie Reeves tuning in over there says, hello, happy new year of 2021. This glorious editing awesome day. Very good, Stephanie. Always like your positivity over there. And the reality is, look, whatever you feel it is it a time worth celebrating? I would venture to say it is, especially if you got family members that you get to spend some time with, and or just trying to make it kind of new each and every day and or weekend. Just even if it's something where you're like, we gotta isolate again and or try to stay in. I will say I've been on the road, and a lot of people are out there kind of just running around, which as long as you practice social distancing, I say it's not a bad thing. I did actually visit somebody who has been quarantining, but I stayed a safe distance far away. And they wear their face mask. I wore my face mask, and just kind of stayed outdoors. It was cold though, not gonna lie, because it was very windy outside. But better to do that than to be in the same space, especially in like the same unit where you're like both talking in a very close proximity. You got to be careful there. So but it's good to like wave from afar, hug from afar, go, oh, I miss you, right, from afar. So there you go. But Jesse, have you had any family members currently get well from this?
From the COVID?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes. I had two cousins have it. They recovered. My older brother had it. He's fine within a week. So we're staying healthy, trying to not catch it, but what are you going to do? It's everywhere.
Well, and that's kind of my thing, though. But remember, and now I feel like we have to do a little soft shift on the fact that if you do get it, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to die from it, right? Because we used to be, as of like March, April, May, where ones were like, oh, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. I always said it's not fake. It's a very real thing. You have to be very aware of it. You have to understand the dynamics of it. And then there were some that are like, well, the numbers are so far down that it's almost like a regular flu, which we've seen it isn't like a regular flu. So you still have to treat it appropriately so that if you do get it, you take it seriously, right? But I have had friends and our family members that are dreading it while having it. And it's almost like, please be mindful that, the majority still do get better overall. And again, those that have to be hospitalized are the very severe cases, those that are, again, experiencing very severe symptoms, not necessarily minor symptoms, but those that, start to, and it could happen in days. I'm just saying, I've seen certain people and or talked to several people that have had it and are having it right now. And the question is, are you at least aware that the majority still will get A-okay, as long as you practice social distancing, as long as you practice, again, awareness, and hopefully you don't get it again and again and again and again, and or a different strain of it, right? But there's a lot of world news coming in on that. So I just feel that we have to sometimes be reminded that while we're cautionary not to be so depressed and so mad or angry when we get it, that we all of a sudden say, oh, I'm probably not going to be able to fight it. If anything, you should be able to say, okay, I understand how important life is, how important life is for all of us, and also as well as how we can each and every day perhaps put a little smile on somebody else's face that we know that's currently has it. I mentioned before, a whole family got it because of one person coming in and just saying blah 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 blah, right, and talking up amok, but doesn't practice any social distancing, is constantly out there, even though she had it and she gave it to the rest of the family, which was a family of like a grandmother, cousins, and they're all practicing social distancing, but all of a sudden now everybody has it in the house. And that's what I'm talking about, that you cannot be that thoughtless person in the world to be able to do that, right, Jesse?
Right, because there are other people here, and I'm pretty sure you have a family member that's in the upper age range that, it could hurt severely. So think about them. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, think about everybody, and that's my point. So, and I appreciate it, and I said, look, as long as we stay outside, way away from each other, and you could at least say hi from afar. So, but for everybody else, again, be careful out there. It's something you definitely got to be careful of. Let's see. Patricia says 80% who die are over 60 years of age, and those with other health issues. Again, very true. Which, again, if you are high risk, that's a worst case scenario. Even if you're at low risk, again, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying, I feel like there's a bit of a depression aspect that I'm starting to see happen, and where people are starting to become so dismally fatigued with coronavirus and or just things that are happening that they get so upset with life that sometimes they feel like it's not worth living any further. Does that make sense, Jesse? Do you feel sometimes that happens?
Yeah, it does, especially with the sheer number of suicides that have happened last year.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's just sad. And I should never have to look at a news report or title and hear 13-year-old committed suicide because they couldn't take it anymore. That's just horrible.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because that's really at the end of it where we're at right now, where we have to say, okay. And I had to remind some family members said, okay, remember, you're more healthy than not. You have to start to keep taking care of yourself, practice social distancing, get past the quarantine time, and then we're going to pull out of it. I had my sister have it twice, and she pulled out of it twice. So again, there are situations. I'm not going to be the first one to say, if you get it, don't be careful. I'm just the first one to say, even if you do get it, let's write it out. Make sure you get the proper facts. Let's not go all dismal right at the beginning. And let's remember there's a life worth living ahead. And if anything, start, I hear it's pretty fatiguing. It's very, very terrible. So it's no fun to go through any sickness like that. But at the very end of it, at least try to focus, if anything, on friends, family, and loved ones. And remember, if you know somebody that does have coronavirus, give them a call and let them know you care about them and or love them. I've seen a lot of Facebook post messages of those that by the time that everybody knows, they're all of a sudden gone. And people are like, I didn't even know they had coronavirus. So be careful out there. Be mindful of one another. And do remember that the majority are still getting A-OK. But at the same time, still something you got to be careful of, because the hospital, look, if the hospital condition was so ramped up to be able to maintain the majority, to be able to come in and be like, okay, we got you, back to the ship that was requested in California to, I forget the name of it, but, by the military. If we had the ability to put enough ventilators, enough staff on that, then we wouldn't have an issue, to be honest. I correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse. What do you think?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I think the ship that you're talking about is the Mercy Hospital, the U.S. Mercy. Is that
Yeah,
what
you
it's
got
called?
it. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, to bring in extra hospital beds and or places where you could put people, right? But so my point is this: as terrible as it is, and it is terrible, just remember, if you get it and or you have a family member that gets it, start quarantining right away. And just remember, stay positive. Don't be all negative and start throwing, because I feel like sometimes the world's starting to go in a very downward spiral of like, how do I say it? People just are kind of not caring right now. And you got to start caring, because it's not like this is the end of everything. We've got solutions. There's solutions that are going to come up ahead of time. Vaccines will probably be better back in March and April, and things will start, waning off of, hopefully, bad advice, bad leadership, and of course, what I call dum-dum of the people that practice dum-dum from people in leadership qualities. Does that make sense? Don't practice dum-dum. Don't be a dum-dum person. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, we'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, people, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go back to social media chat room. Let's see what you guys are saying over there. And ladies, Let's see. Diana Carbajal says, Happy New Year, Breakfast Club. Aaron and Jesse, good to see you. Patricia says, without special air filters, it will spread indoors. It travels as a mist from taking. Stephanie Reese says, let's hope 2021 is going to be a much better year than 2020. And yeah, there it is, the Mercy Ship. Thank you, Shadow, for tuning in on that. Yeah, here's one. Perfect example. Diana says, I just returned last night from my grandmother's funeral and now have to quarantine myself until I get tested. I definitely need to stay calm. We all need to take precautions to be safe. It's very true. Anthony says, Transformers, it's more than meets the eye. It's definitely real, but you can tell that theirs is a bigger agenda. Perhaps the Great Reset or Agenda 21 is on the horizon. What does that mean, Jesse? I don't know what that means. I can't hear you, buddy.
Okay, I'm smelling conspiracy theories, so I don't know. I need more information.
Tell me, what is it?
No, I don't know.
What's the Great Reset or Agenda 21?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying that it sounds interesting. I would like to know.
Optimus Prime would like to know too. I can't do it right now.
Can't wait to get home for Netflix.
Let's see. I think Better and Better says Happy New Year, Aaron. Thank you for tuning in on Periscope. Thank you. Appreciate it.
30 seconds.
I want to know now. What is the Great Reset or Agenda 21? I'm going to look it up.
Conspiracy Theory Friday's back.
Dun, dun, dun. Why not? Let's see. Wait, how much time do I have?
10 seconds.
I'll have to look these things up.
Two seconds. Coming back.
It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, and much, much more. We're on AM and FM, by the way. Go check it out, KMET1490am.com. It's there. You can also download us on your app, wherever you're at, wherever you're tuning in from around the world. So some would even venture to say maybe, in outer space, because they say radio and or anything over the air gets out into the hemisphere of, outer space. Isn't that cool? Like, I think somebody beamed, what was it? Speaking of conspiracy theories, because somebody said in our social media chat room, which I feel like it needs to be said, Anthony Moffat says this from Transformers, it's more than meets the eye. It's definitely real, but you could tell that theirs is a bigger agenda. Perhaps the Great Reset or Agenda 21 is on the horizon. 2021. I really don't know what those are. I feel like I do, but I think I need more information, Anthony. So feel free to share that as well with our social media audience as well. Blanca says, Happy New Year. Wishing everyone a great, healthy New Year. I like that, Blanca, from Riverside. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Or is it San Bernardino? I always get it wrong, Blanca. I know we visited you at your house once, and so there you go. Hopefully your family is good to go as well. And Diana Carball says, I just returned last night from my grandmother's funeral. Now I have to quarantine myself until I get tested. I definitely need to stay calm. We all need to take precautions to be safe. And again, that's the biggest lesson of anything. But here's my question, Jesse. If we had like an alien nation listening and or watching us from afar, do you think they would visit us anytime soon based on where we're at in the stream of time?
Honestly, no. If I was an alien species and I'd just be in space, I'd be like, yeah, it's not time yet. Still need that. It'd be like, we freaked out and bought all the toilet paper. Why?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. No, you're right. Actually, you're completely right. There's this story, and here it is. I'm going to bring up two different articles, one from News Scientist and the other from CNN. Okay, this is kind of an old story, but it's something that we're seeing again and again. Mysterious radio signals from space have been known to repeat, but for the first time, this was back early in last year, technically, about a year ago. Researchers have noticed a pattern in a series of bursts coming from a single source 500 million light years from Earth. Fast radio bursts, or FRBs, are millisecond long bursts of radio waves in space. Individual radio bursts emit once and don't repeat, but repeating fast radio bursts are known to send out short energetic radio waves multiple times. And usually when they repeat, it's sporadic or in a cluster, according to previous observations. That was between September 16, 2018 and October 30th, 2019. They detected a pattern in bursts occurring every 16.35 days. That's researchers with the Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment, or FAST Radio Burst Project collaboration. Over the course of 4 days, the signal would release a burst or two each hour, then it would go silent for another 12 days. The findings are included in the preprint of a paper on ArXiv, meaning the paper has been moderated but not fully peer-reviewed. The authors of the paper are part of the CHIME FRB collaboration, which has published a multitude of fast radio burst studies in recent years. So my point is, Jesse, our radio broadcasting actually might be heard by other civilizations one day. What do you think?
That is cool. And if there are any listening, yeah, if you need some infiltrators, I'm here. No, I'm playing.
Wait, infiltrators? I don't think the alien species like infiltrators. They like, look, I think there are more peaceful than destroying type civilizations out there, which is why they're still out there. And they're like, I'm not coming to your Earth because you guys are messed up. I think when they see us, they're like, you know what? They haven't evolved yet. Did you not ever watch Star Trek?
I watch parts of Star Trek.
You have to learn Star Trek, because the reality is it's always the ones that would like destroy each other. Even the Klingons ended up getting along with the Federation of the Starfleet. Yeah, because it was like, let's save planets, let's save people, not destroy each other. Then they were like a peace versus. I mean, it was always fun talk when it was like war talk, but then Captain Kirk would come in, or Patrick Stewart would come in, and all right, we need to make things right here. How do we make things right? And then they would do it and blah blah blah. But you can't be the infiltrator. That's the guy that nobody trusts, Jesse.
No. I'm saying, like, if they were to come to me and be like, Jesse, we need you to do some stuff. But all right. Not to hurt mankind, but to make it better, to advance it.
No, describe the because I have a feeling that it has a lot more information than what you're saying, Jesse.
No. Okay. What if they have humans, I think the infiltrator was a wrong word, but all I'm saying is they have people here trying to push humanity a little bit faster and further than we are moving. Do you know what I'm saying? Because just think about it. In the 1900s, we had steam engines, and look at where we're at now, 100 years later. It's a pretty big advancement.
Wait, I'm okay. I'm going to help you out here just a bit, because I feel like I know what you're wanting to say, but I feel like it's kind of being like going left versus right. Let's see in the middle. Okay, look, at the end of the day, because there's all kinds of theories, right? On social media audience, we want your opinion on this as well, because I've seen it. Some people go, in one way, like they think, okay, given the right of okay, let's take something kind of like very basic, right? It's discussed a lot in the Hebrew scripture, right? Free will. Everybody has free will, right? You have a choice. You have a choice of what path you want to go down. You have choices all the time that you say, okay, some are divinely inspired, some things are not, and some things just happen, right? And sometimes people think very positively. They like to think positively on a certain aspect, like, okay, my life is dismal right now, but how can I make it better coming up in the weeks ahead, right? And so they have to constantly wake up with the mindset, how can I be positive? How can I be positive? How can I be positive in a very negative world? So you have to think in such a way that you start changing your mindset to say, okay, how can I look at the good positive things in life moving forward, even if everything around me is getting a very significant downfall, right? So back to free will. If you have the ability to have free will, right? Some will say, yeah, but free will is kind of not the best, when in fact they're doing all kinds of harm. Then when does free will become not good free will? Does that make sense, Jesse?
Yes, it kind of does.
But then it goes to the next step of, okay, artificial intelligence, for example. Just because you have artificial intelligence, does it mean that artificial intelligence, which would calculate everything ahead of time, be able to say, okay, I predict between this time and this time, we should have this happen and this happen. If it happens, then it bypasses everybody's free will.
Yeah.
Now artificial intelligence takes off, and all of a sudden artificial intelligence is ruling everybody. Now, is that a good thing, a bad thing, and or something that you go, well, I kind of like the choice of what to eat or what not to eat? Isn't that free will? What do you think, Jesse?
Yeah, I think that would be free will, freedom of choice.
Yeah. But on the other hemisphere, there are scientists and or others that go, free will kind of isn't that great. Why don't we just make everybody a robot and then back to the Borg? The Borg of Star Trek, you should really watch it. We're like assimilating people's knowledge and or things. And then they basically said, yeah, we don't care about your decision making. We're going to rule your decision making. And there you go. So that's a problem as well. So look, people like freedom of choice, freedom of will, freedom of who you want to get to love, who you feel energy like from. There's a lot of ability of free will. And then there's times when you're like, yeah, free will is sometimes overrated when people are doing dumb stuff for other people and or taking charge with other people's dumbness. So don't do that. But back to something that you were talking about. What you're saying is you want to be an infiltrator for bad. You'd be an infiltrator for good.
Yes, to try, like, let's say, because just picture it, like 100 years ago, if aliens were to come here, we'd have a heart attack. Just think about, remember War of the Worlds on the radio?
Yes.
People, so what if they have people here, they know that aliens are real and they're trying to evolve us faster than we are naturally evolving.
Like cybernetically or like mutation of DNA or what?
Yeah, you never know. Just technology in general and just slow evolution. We're always changing.
I can see that. Remember the movie X-Files? Do you remember that X-Files? That was let's see, David Duchovny and what was
Gillian Anderson.
Yes, I love that. Actually, the show, I like the series, but the reality is, look, I get what you're saying. I do. However, I would say to aliens, whoa, because you got look. You can't look. I'll give you a perfect example. If Jesse, all of a sudden you had the ability to have a completely bionic body part, right? Okay. And you go out there and you start zapping people with it because you put laser guided systems on it, right? You're like, I don't like you. Boom, you're gone. You disintegrate them, right? What's the movie that you really like that's like futuristic with the alien heads?
There's a lot of movie with that. I can't recall it.
The freaky ones with the big like eyeballs and Mars Attacks.
Oh, you talk about that one from the 90s where they're like, ack, ack, ack.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. Don't do that. That's bad. Don't do that. But my point is this. So there's a good and bad and a kind of like it's fun to talk about, but you don't want to be that person. So if you're going to infiltrate for good, never infiltrate for bad, because sometimes what people think is good, they end up figuring out sooner than later. For example, there's quantum theory, there's black hole theory, there's wormhole theory, there's cybernetics, there's so many different things that you have to be able to say at the end of the day. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Back to your Jurassic Park situation, which we talked about yesterday, right? The woolly rhinoceros, who knew that was a thing? But you're like, yeah, but that's a slippery path we've already determined isn't going to be a good one, right?
Right, because we start cloning one animal. What's to stop us at one? It's like a potato chip. You got to keep going more.
Exactly. All right, let's go to chat room and let's see what everybody's saying there. I have a feeling they have interesting things based on our odd discussion here, which I don't think is what we aim to do. But I love talking like aliens, conspiracy theories, or just other species. Let's see. Angela says, but do they understand English? I think English is probably like a very basic, especially our form of English. You know how low English has gotten in the last like 100 years, Jesse?
No, I do not.
The average, if you look at old literature of 1900s, early 1900s, and you look at a regular newspaper, you're like, I don't understand half of these words because it's like you have to look up a dictionary. The vocabulary of English in written literature was so advanced, you'd be like, we don't use any of that. We use very basic. And if we keep going downwards, we're just going to be like, bo, 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 right? It's just like, you can't do that. So you got to consistently, I just read a book yesterday, very briefly. It was at CVS. I was picking up pills for my mother. And it was like how to train your brain to be able to be smarter and not decline, right? And so it was talking about certain words that you need to get in your head so that you can certainly like start using them in your everyday language and start using them in such a way that they improve your mindset, right? So there you go. Do they understand English? I don't know. They probably go, that's a very odd behavior language, but then maybe they speak a very basic language. I don't know. I would venture to say the majority probably speak telepathically, so I don't really know. Diana Carvajal says it's cold outside. Here from Downey. Thank you for tuning in from Downey. Appreciate you and those in Downey as well. Bobby Stamps says hello, happy New Year to Patricia. Let's see. Patricia says this: climate change, population with limited resources. We have not managed well. We allow injustice, oppression, and don't even support healthcare that would prevent suffering with related job loss. It's very true. Very, very important. And again, those are just a little bit of things. Stephanie says, the only alien I just noticed is my Himalayan kitten, Emma. She's always up to something. So there you go. All right, people, we're going to take a quick break. And here, before I go, because you never know, some outer space alien may say, hey, what are you talking about over there? You talking about us? You ready for us to visit? I say, hold off just now. The Earth is not ready for anything. But, help send some good ideas our way that can help us advance our life. Because unfortunately, a lot of people are doing dumb stuff and don't get it into the dumb people's hands, which are just the ones wanting to cause ruin and or make themselves feel good because I'm the president. You know that guy? Don't be that guy. All right, people, we'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, Jesse, we're on a commercial break. Let's see here. Bobby says, the best part of waking up is Cayman tea in my cup.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, man. Let's see. Diana says, Happy New Year. I'm going to leave that first name out because he doesn't like me anymore. Taz Zarate, Susan Murphy, Angie Guzman, and all original Breakfast Club. Hey, I call it like I see it. It just is. He makes no mince about it either. So that's one of the things I will say that some people showed their true colors last year. I hope it doesn't continue to happen. Does that make sense, Jesse?
Yes, it does. I think with everyone, well, not just you in general, but just everyone like being stuck together, it just goes to show who you really like and who you dislike.
It's true. I mean, those that like kind of said blah, blah, blah to me, honestly, are the ones that were like, coronavirus isn't real or Trump should win. And, so I'm like, well, look where that went. So. At the end of the day, who was right? Right. Sad but true. I hate to be that person. I'm like, well, you fought over what? And that's the thing. I have no problem saying, look, I know when I'm right and I know when I'm wrong. And I'll admit when I'm wrong. I've always done that. And I just know when I'm right.
Yeah.
And then I know when to listen to say to people, maybe you're right and I'm wrong. And we have to learn from each other like that because nobody wants that, oh, I'm always right guy. So I have to remember that, okay, I'm not always. Let me learn from the smarter people in the room. But you got to learn to listen to them. Right, Jesse?
Yes.
All right, let's see. Looking at all the news stories. New Year revelries muted as curtain draws on 2020.
30 seconds.
More in LA dying from COVID without underlying conditions. Oh, okay.
See, the people who don't have underlying conditions, how do they know? Unless they go to the doctor quite often to find out.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying is people don't go to the doctors enough to find out if they have any health conditions.
I think we should travel. I want to go to Canada.
3 seconds, right?
Start begins the moment they're born.
Coming back.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live audience there on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Glad to have you with us. On today's show, we're discussing, are you taking a moment to evaluate yourself, your life? Maybe you're thinking, you know what? I want to enjoy some stuff around the corner instead of always being like, oh, that guy, right? Like myself, for example, I'm thinking maybe I should travel a little and maybe broadcast from different places. I don't know. It's not that hard, right, Jesse? It's pretty simple for us to do.
Yeah, as long as I'm here, you can go travel anywhere you want. As long as you don't go to Japan at the Super Mario Land, we're all good.
Or Jesse can go too, because we have to have enough money at the station to be able to hire somebody else to do your job, really. But the Canadian government said Wednesday passengers must have a negative COVID-19 test taken within 3 days before they arrive in the country. Intergovernmental Affairs Minister Dominique LeBlanc said the measure will be implemented in the next few days. Canada already requires those entering the country to self-isolate for 14 days. It has already banned all flights from the United Kingdom because of the new variant of COVID-19 spreading there. The decision came a day after the premier of Canada's largest province said he had ordered his finance minister to end a Caribbean vacation he took at a time the government is urging people to avoid non-essential travel because of the pandemic. Ontario Premier Doug Ford said Wednesday it is unacceptable that Finance Minister Rod Phillips went to the French island of St. Bart's for the holidays. He said, we're going to have a very tough conversation when he gets back. There cannot be rules for elected people and non-elected people. I agree with that. I mean, if you're elected, stay working. Get things done. Ford said Phillips never told anyone he was leaving, but Ford said he knew Phillips was out of the country shortly after he arrived. Ford said this, my mistake. I take full responsibility at that time. I should have said, get your backside back into Ontario, and I didn't do that. The finance minister's Twitter account had suggested he was in Ontario while he has been in St. Bart's. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment right now because I can see us doing that. Like, no, we're working, we are, but we have a recorded segment, right? But we pre-recorded. We're like, no, it's really Friday, but we're like in Cancun, Mexico. Jesse, we got to do that. It'll be fun. Nobody checks in on us, do they? No. Okay. In a video posted on Christmas Eve, he was shown sitting by our fireplace with a gingerbread house and a little Christmas tree and drinking eggnog. Phillips said he was returning immediately. Opposition parties called for Phillips to be removed from the cabinet. Phillips also traveled to Switzerland in August. I'm sorry, this is somebody that's just like, I just want to get away. I don't want to face the facts right now. I almost can't blame this poor person because he's like, I need fun in my life and I got none of it. Let me just pretend I'm over here working while I'm having fun with the family. Let's see. Howard Ju, Canada's Deputy Chief Public Health Officer, said some Canadians are still traveling for non-essential reasons. This is deeply concerning. We must reiterate that now is not the time to travel. Ontario began a province-wide lockdown on December 26th. Ford has been blaming travelers for bringing the new coronavirus to the province. Canada's national government and the Ontario government have both repeatedly asked Canadians not to travel abroad during the pandemic. The Ford government already was being criticized for halting vaccination operation over the holidays and for delaying a province-wide lockdown until the day after Christmas because he's like, I'm getting out of here, man. Ontario set a new daily record for cases on Wednesday with 2,900, with just over 1/3 of them in the country's largest city of Toronto. So look, agree to disagree on this. I can't blame the guy for wanting to take some time off, but he's an elected official, and it's like he's kind of like, no, let's delay that so I could get outside of it and pretend I'm there, right, Jesse? You can't do that.
If you're an elected official and you're telling people to stay home and you go on vacation, you're a hypocrite. I'm not a big fan of those, but you know what? If I had the chance to sneak away, I probably would too. So I don't blame him.
Yeah, I'm not. Look, I mean, there's great deals in Las Vegas. I'm not going to lie. I've thought about it a couple of times. I'm like, it is just me. I might as well enjoy some fun. So I don't know, but I do know this. LA County has surpassed 10,000 deaths from the coronavirus Wednesday as California hit a record high number of fatalities. The governor announced the first detected case of the new and apparently more contagious variant of the coronavirus in a San Diego man. LA County Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer It's called the 10,056 deaths there, a terrible milestone. She noted that more than 7,400 people remain hospitalized with coronavirus in the county, with 20% of them in intensive care units. According to Ferrer, she said, the most heartbreaking is that if we had done a better job of reducing transmission of the virus, many of these deaths would not have happened. The milestone came the same day Governor Gavin Newsom announced an unprecedented high of 432 reported deaths, a figure that was likely elevated due to a lag in reporting over the holidays. He said during a briefing with Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's leading infectious disease experts, that he had just learned that the new strain of the virus had been detected, the second reported case in the nation. Fauci said, I don't think California should think that this is odd. It's to be expected. San Diego County officials said the infected man is a 30-year-old with no history of travel. See that? How did that happen, Jesse? Eric McDonald, who's the county's medical director for epidemiology, said the patient became symptomatic on the 27th. He was tested yesterday, and the new strain was detected early Wednesday. Another person in the man's household was being tested. The Colorado and California cases have triggered a host of questions about how the variant circulating in England arrived in the U.S. and whether it is too late to stop it now, with top experts saying it is probably already spreading elsewhere in the U.S. One San Diego supervisor said the detection means it is already circulating there. Hours after the new variant was detected, San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria signed an executive order directing stricter enforcement of state and local public health rules. He said he's asked police and city attorney to pursue fines and potentially other enforcement actions against those who are blatantly and egregiously defying health orders. Gloria praised residents who follow the rules, stay home as much as possible, and wear masks when outside. He said many have sacrificed their social lives for the greater good. Others have treated this with a sickening level of apathy as their neighbors died. Hospitals are increasingly stretched by soaring infections that are expected to grow in the coming weeks. Southern California and the agricultural San Joaquin Valley have what is considered no intensive care capacity to treat patients suffering from the coronavirus. State health officials remain worried about gatherings tied to New Year's Eve, but that was, again, something we've already seen. And unfortunately, a lot of people actually just kind of threw caution to the wind on that. But Jesse, what do we learn from this?
Yeah, even if you don't travel, you're not safe. But most likely he came in contact with someone who did. So just know who you're nearby or contacting with and just cover your face.
Exactly. So again, you got to be cautious. It's not something that we haven't discussed many times here on the show. And I think a good majority of you have been very, 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 very careful. And again, you took it seriously from the very beginning. And that is exactly what you need to continue to do. Just remember, if you do get it, err on the side of caution again. Be cautious, be aware of it. Don't go out spreading it to others going, I don't care. I'll be fine with it. Don't be that person. What I'm just saying is have a healthy balance of it. If you do have it, you have to stay home. It's hard sometimes to stay home for weeks on end. I know for my mom, I took her out for like almost like 8 hours and showed her the way it was outside. And she's like, I have not seen it like this. Because she was starting to say to people, he doesn't let me out. And I'm like, Mom, I let you. I'm trying to keep you safe. What part of that? So I'm like, okay, let's do this. And so now she's like, I'd rather stay home. So I think, though, sometimes people need a little bit of go out in the car, drive around a little, see what's out there. And then because some people have become a little stir crazy in their house, right?
Yep.
So don't get too stir crazy. Get out a little bit. I say get some sun, put on the face mask. Make sure, if you walk to the park, enjoy a little bit of sun because you need some more sun in your life for sure. Diana Carbajal says, I'm feeling grateful for everyone and wishing everyone start this brand new year with an abundance of compassion, joy, kindness, and love for one another. That's what we like to hear. Let's see. Angela says he was in contact with someone who traveled. That's a good guesstimate on that. That would make sense. And or it's already there. You have to, okay, some people don't understand how viruses get transmitted. Sometimes it just takes a couple of people just coming into contact, let's say there's 10 people that all of a sudden meet together, right? And they meet in the same household all of a sudden. 3 of them go outside and 3 of them come back. Where did they go in between? They may have gone to the supermarket. They may have gone to visit somebody else. They may have gone and said, yeah, I'm not going to wear my face mask today. And or they just, come into somebody that it's like a cold virus. How do you track it so much, right? People that stay home more often than not are more secure than not. than those that constantly go outside and don't practice social distancing, don't practice with their face mask, and or don't practice obviously cleaning their hands, taking care of one another, and the such. There's places like Costco, like Target, like supermarkets, and or places which we've seen in the past have been a big spreader of disease every now and then. But are they trying to be more safe and secure now than ever before? Yes. Do they have certain types of things that they do to sanitize and or keep it free and clear? I would venture to say yes, especially in your neck of the woods. You've probably been seeing them take a lot of necessary precautions, right? Wiping down things and wiping down the shopping carts and, of course, food items, of course. But if you have somebody come into contact with somebody else that has a mutated version of it, you never know. It could have happened 8 layers down. That person might have been the 9th layer down, meaning there were 8 other people that are also sick, but they don't even know they have it. So there's so many different ways to get it. Sometimes, that kind of makes people go, kind of stir crazy, just want to stay home, which I say, if that's the case for you and you're already at risk, then do so and just be careful. But remember, get out a little and understand that sometimes being too much in a confined space can kind of make you go a little bonkers. So get out, look at the other, the world around you and say, okay. Go visit, a family friend and, stay in your vehicle and say hi from afar and just have them, just even seeing them from afar is kind of good, but stay in your vehicle. How hard is that? Right, Jesse?
Right. Stay in your vehicle.
Yeah. So, okay. Dana says, I'll have to get a rapid test. Let's see. Bobby says, retirement is blissful. 6 years now. Hope you feel better as well. Thank you, Bobby. And Diana says, Bobby, thanks. Just got back from out of town and just want to make sure I'm okay. Don't want to be a spreader since I was around other people. And again, that is a thing. Whenever you're around other people, you increase your chances. It just happens. So look, I'm not here to be like the person, back in March, which I'm like, hey, because I think everybody now understands it's very real. What I'm now here about is to say, where do we go from here and how can we stay positive and how can we look forward to advancing technologies that are there? And is the future bleak? No, I venture to say it's actually very hopeful. We just have to get together and start talking about these discussions and things that make sense, not trust dumb people. You know what I mean? Don't be a dumb person and or trust a dumb person. But there you go. I have high hopes for the next administration. I do, whatever they are. Is Trump going to let go, or is Biden going to have to take charge and pull out his big guns? I don't know. Right? What's going to happen there? I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll be back with more next week. Same place, same channel. Make it a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. All right. And for the rest of you tuning in, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Again, it's been a fun day. Yes, it is the day of days, meaning let's make it a day of hope. Whatever day we are having to face in the coming future, whatever day that is moving forward, whatever element that we have to either see coming up around the corner, whatever it is that we have to, how do I put it? Whatever it is that is in your life where you have to say, okay, I got to face this, I got to face that, I got to face that, the other thing. Maybe it's bills, maybe it's rent, maybe it's family. How do we move forward from this moment in time? Simple. We just say, okay, let's focus on what's important. Family, right? How do I keep family alive and well? That's number 2. And then number 3, let's enjoy one another, right? Let's look at family fun, look at things that we can do to participate in some stuff that will help mankind, not hurt mankind. And there you go. So if you put those in very proper perspective, you could keep more positive, and more positive is better than all negative, right? Sometimes I tell my mom, and I told my mom a couple of times, I said, Mom, sometimes you wake up in a very bad state. And sometimes we all do, including myself. Sometimes we wake up with worries. Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I say, immediately got to remove that and start thinking of all the positive things that have happened in your life up until now. I used to say, we're alive at least, but that seems to not do really well when it's like, yeah, but it's not the best life, right? Especially if you have a senior citizen and or a family member that's currently stuck in their place of dwelling by themselves. It's no fun. It really isn't. And I would venture to say there's got to be ways to do so in a better environment rather than, isolating people for too long, because then that gets a little stir crazy for people. Back to my mom, I want my mom to be healthy. I want her to be safe. And I want her to just focus on the reality that is, hey, we're almost there. Okay, we're almost there for things to get better. We just have to make the proper necessary decisions to say, look, we commit to being 100% for what is right versus what is wrong and or evil. Let's just do that. Okay, that's the next set of things we just have to focus on. What's right, not necessarily wrong and or evil. Definitely not evil. Let's get that out of the way. All right, people, I appreciate you. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. Live it well. Bye-bye, everyone.